Hello everyone, welcome. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome to another lesson in our ongoing French course. So in this lesson, we are going to briefly look at something you already know, but we're going to add a little twist. I've had some requests from some of you for a special topic, so I'm going to incorporate that into today's lesson. So we've learned the verbs rencontrer and retrouver. They both mean to meet, but they have different meanings. They're not interchangeable. For example, rencontrer means to meet someone for the first time or to meet someone by chance, or you might say to run into someone. So the exciting verb retrouver means to meet someone or meet up with someone as planned. It's a planned meeting. Or to see someone again, or if you've lost an object, it can also mean to find something again. Now we've looked at examples of both of these verbs in the present tense. However, these verbs are often used in the past tense. Now in this course so far, we've only been dealing with the present tense, but it's time to add a little bit of the past tense to the course. So what I'm going to do is show you how to use a certain aspect of the past tense. It's very complex, so we're not going to cover all of the important points. We're just going to cover how to conjugate regular ER verbs in the past tense. This is called the passé composé. So that's what we're going to learn. We're going to learn how to do that. This is the special thing. Some of you have been asking for the passé composé, the simple past tense in French. So I'm going to give you a little introduction. Think of this as a soft introduction. It's not the formal lesson yet, but it's very powerful, this one particular aspect, because there are many, many verbs that are regular ER verbs in the past tense. So that's what we're going to learn. So this is called the passé composé, le passé composé, and it's equivalent to the simple past in English. So it's not very difficult to form, so let's take a look at how we do that. It's made up of things that you already mostly know. For example, the first part of the passé composé is the verb avoir, to have. We've had the verb avoir quite a while back, so you're very familiar with this verb already. So we will use the forms of the verb avoir in the present tense, plus a past participle. So how do you form the past participle? Well, it's very simple. You take the stem of the verb, which you already know how to find the stem. You just remove the ER, and then you add the E with the accent aigu. So this accent facing this way is called the accent aigu. So it's really quite simple, the way that you form this verb. Let's look at an example. Think of the verb to work, travailler. This is a regular ER verb, and it's a regular ER verb in the past tense, which means we can go ahead and use this one as our example. So travailler, if you remove the ER, you have your stem. So there's your stem, and all you have to do is add this to it. So we have travailler. And that's pretty much it. Now all you have to do is just put this together. J'ai travaillé. Now literally this means I have worked, but it gives you the same meaning as you have in English by saying I worked. So how, in other words, how do you say I worked in French? You literally have to say I have worked to say I worked. So j'ai travaillé. And there it is. I worked. It's that simple. And the exciting thing is you can use this with many, many verbs, many ER verbs. So let's quickly go through each one of these examples. Okay, so we want to say in French, I worked. How do you say I worked? You literally have to say I have worked. So remember your verb avoir. I have is j'ai, and then take travailler with the ER ending, remove the ER and replace it with the accent aigu, the E with the accent aigu. And we have j'ai travaillé. What does j'ai travaillé mean? It means I worked. Okay, so the next one. How would you say in French, you worked? Remember that you literally have to say, you have worked. And we're talking about the informal you, the tu. So remember, you have is tu as, and then your past participle, travailler. So the answer is tu as travaillé. You worked. If you translate literally, you have worked, but it means you worked. How about he worked? Comment dit-on? How do you say comment dit-on? He worked. Remember, you literally have to say he has worked. So the answer is il a travaillé. Il a travaillé. He worked. We worked. Remember, literally, we have worked. Nous avons travaillé. Nous avons travaillé. We worked. You worked. This is the formal you with vous. Vous avez travaillé. And finally, they worked. We'll just go with the il, the ILS here. So they have, ils ont, and travaillé. Ils ont travaillé. They worked. Okay, so now remember, if you can do this with one verb, you can do this with many, many verbs, many regular ER verbs in the passé composé. Okay, so let's go back to our two verbs, rencontrer and retrouver. And we're going to look at examples with these verbs, but we're going to put the verb in the past tense. So we're going to start with this first one here, to meet someone for the first time. Let's look at an example with that. So if I want to say, I met Pierre yesterday, how would you say that? I met Pierre yesterday. If you don't know yesterday, I will give you the word. Maybe you know it. Maybe not. Let's see. Okay, so we're going to use which verb? Well, we're going to use the verb rencontrer. So we have to put that in the past tense. So how would you say I met? You would say j'ai rencontré. So I met, and then of course Pierre. J'ai rencontré Pierre. And then the word for yesterday is hier. You don't pronounce the H. Hier. So we have a very nice sentence here in the past. I met Pierre yesterday. J'ai rencontré Pierre hier. So we have an example of this first one here, to meet someone for the first time. Now, to meet someone by chance or to run into someone with rencontrer. So if you want to say in French, I ran into lui at the movies, we're going to use the verb rencontrer. We're going to use it in the passé composé. So if you want to say I ran into, it would be j'ai rencontré. And then of course, lui, j'ai rencontré lui. And where? At the movies? Au cinéma. Another nice sentence in the past tense. J'ai rencontré lui au cinéma. I ran into Louis at the movies. Okay, so now we're going to move over here to this other side. Retrouver, to meet up with someone as planned, to meet someone as planned. Let's look at an example with that. If I want to say, I made some plans to meet Pierre at the cafe, so yesterday I met Pierre at the cafe, I would say, j'ai retrouvé, put it in the passé composé, Pierre au café. There you have it. Very nice sentence in the passé composé. I met Pierre at the cafe. Now an example with retrouver, to mean to see someone again. So if I want to ask you the question, did you meet Marie again? Meaning, did you see Marie again? Using vous, the question would be, vous avez retrouvé Marie? And that's it. The idea of again is built into the verb retrouver. It's actually made up of trouver, which means to find, and the re means again. So literally, retrouver means to find again. And so there you have a nice question. Did you see Marie again? Vous avez retrouvé Marie? And finally, let's look at this last meaning of retrouver, to find something again. So let's say you lost something, you lost your keys, and you can just say, well, I found my keys. Well, how do you say it? Using the verb retrouver, I found. J'ai retrouvé, and then my keys, mes clés. J'ai retrouvé mes clés. So there you have it, examples of both of these verbs in the past tense in the passé composé. We will have a more formal lesson of the passé composé later on down the road, but for now, you know how to conjugate the majority of verbs in the passé composé. If you would like to keep practicing with the passé composé, for now, I will include many examples of the passé composé in my short videos, and I will have a playlist, so be on the lookout for that. I will also include a link to the playlist in the description so you can find it there very easily. So that's it for this lesson. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this helpful, I would appreciate it very much if you'd give it a like or maybe a hype. Share it with someone who's learning French that you think might benefit from this lesson. And to my subscribers, thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. To go on to another lesson, click on the video that appears here on your screen. See you soon. À bientôt.